Stand Up with Pete Dominick on Sirius XM Insight. My good buddy, my old buddy, Pete Dominick.
Hey,
Pete.
Hey, Dan.
How you doing, buddy? I just let you know, it's be warned. It's bow staff day. We're both holding bow staff, so we're a little aggressive.
That's why I didn't come in. I listened to the show last night. I know you have a bow staff. I know Dan has some kind of battle axe.
It's a hatchet.
It's a hatchet.
Forgive me.
It's a tomahawk if we're getting post-apocalyptic about it.
All I have is a power skull.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the mind thing. That's what Joe said.
Yes.
It was the mind powers.
I'm
like Brainiac. I forgot that we said me and you were going to ram in the hallway.
You know who didn't forget that, Dan Soder?
I don't know, but I'll dude. If you huff out of your nose and I see you in the hallway,
you'll lower.
I'll charge, dude.
I'll lower my hand.
I'll fucking flip this backpack off and fucking stick you with this melon.
No, what'll happen is we'll see each other in the hallway. You'll start charging, but I'm too quick for you. I would never take you on. You're like way bigger than me, dude, so I would quickly move out of the way and let you fly past me.
Dude, I'll go right out the window of the 36th floor. You don't think I'll break through both those fucking windows?
Turn around, look up at Pete in the window still, and give him double super fingers. Yeah. Fucking hit a Prius.
It comes down like the asteroid in Armageddon. Right? It just fucking rips through.
We are never in the building at the same time, or else there would be a major battle in the Sirius XM hallways.
I like you falling like Superman to Earth. Like you're catching fire almost. Yeah. You're going so fast.
Just head first.
Your head is just causing fire around. Wind fire.
It's got that Atmos burn around it.
Oh, this is a pleasant way to start off a phone confrontation. Dun dun dun. Do we have soap opera music, Lou?
Thank you guys for having me. First of all, appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I listened to the show last night. I listened to the show when Joe was on, and I thought, you know what, I should go on and say stuff and talk about stuff. And obviously, you've already addressed a lot of the things, but I have been getting hammered for 48 hours by complete strangers that are listeners of yours. I have been called cunt more times in the last 2 days.
It rhymes with everything, dude. It rhymes with everything.
And also, it's more of the British thing. So if you think about it like it's a Guy Ritchie movie, it's way more charming.
And then after your gossips and rumor that you talked about last night, I've been called a tattletale and a snitch. That hurt. Cunt didn't hurt, but tattletale and snitch hurt.
Well, we were told you went to the big dogs.
Yeah,
in the office.
I love the way you worked it out on the air. All the rumors. That was helpful for me.
Well,
it
is the funniest though.
It's the way. It is the way to create the most funniest content.
Well, the only facts I have is that Jacob called me and said there was blowback.
There was
Joe
no blowback. Let you and Dan go ahead and clear up right now that no one has said anything to you. I'm guessing nobody.
Well, they know not to speak to me. I have it in my contract.
Right? Nobody has in any way disciplined you or warned you or said anything to exactly.
But so I don't think we said. I don't think we even said that we were disciplined at all. We said what we heard, which was that you went to Jack Vaughn's office and spoke to two of the bosses for up to 2 hours. Is what we heard.
Up to 2 hours is hilarious. First thing I did was, of course, text Jay in the morning.
Yes.
And address it with him and tell him what I thought. And if I had your contact info, I did the most pathetic thing last night, and I just tweeted at Dan Soder.
Oh, well, what you don't know about Dan Soder is he's not on Twitter. There's just planned.
Even worse.
There's just planned fucking promotion tweets. And then I'm off it for mental health reasons.
Between radio feuds, we're doing post-apocalyptic prep.
I was like, hey, Dan, huge fan of yours. Never have had a problem with you. We don't even know each other outside of me just being a fan and admiring your work and career and the Billions show. And I was like, hey, DM me so we can... But
I wonder how many of those I've missed. Has a lot of people come to...
Slide in your DMs, dude.
Maybe I got an apology from my mom's ex-boyfriend, Joe. He's like, hey, Dan, just wanted to say really enjoed being your... stepdad-ish. DM me. Let's talk about it. I'm like, man, I really had a plan.
It was definitely the guy roofing your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, there was no tattletaling. There was no. But first of all,
Jacob's a liar. Now we got Lou lying about asthma attacks. Now Jacob's
I actually, first of all, and the other thing is Jacob and Lou, who produce your guys' show, I've known for 10 years.
You're saying they're moles. They're working for your show.
You're saying this is a long con.
I'm saying that whether it's Joe DeRosa or Jay Okerson or anybody that you've known a long time, you absolutely, if you're an honest, mature man, you talk to them. You say, hey, listen, man, I didn't love that you did this thing or that thing. I think we can all agree on that, right? Like, you address it with the person. Yeah. You have a problem with you don't go to their boss and tell them.
That's why I was
exactly what I did.
That was
exactly what I did. The thing is, when we go on the radio and we talk and we say things, people, if they're doing their jobs, listen and then want to know what happened. And when Joe DeRosa and I had a huge fight on my show, and then it got even worse off the air, that stuff, when you work for a big corporation like SiriusXM, gets to everybody. I mean, there were rumors that we had a fist fight, which it's hilarious to watch how...
I'm friends with Joe, but I would put all my money on you. As a fellow Ramhead, I'll just tell you this:
you have a lower center of gravity.
Oh man, you buck right through that.
Your cardio's sick.
You go right through nice now. That gummy body would be fucking ripped apart by your head.
It would be like actually hitting a heavy bag. Joe's dense like heavy bag.
I don't think he could be hurt. There's no bones.
He's the Sandman. That's his new name. We're all gonna post-apocalypse.
I've been in 3 fights in my life, and all 3 of those fights
were against Joe DeRosa.
In my mind,
3 punches were thrown, none by me. I'm not fighting anybody.
Yeah,
thank you.
You're 0-3.
I make friends. 0-3. A homeless guy, a drunk guy, and another drunk guy.
Dude, I hate to tell you this, but Jay and I have a term for those. Those are stat patters. That's when you walk into that fight like, let me just get some dubs in the column.
Yeah, I'm hustling. So, but there was no even remotely.
So why did what's the word that he went to speak to?
Yeah, why?
I did. Well, they wanted me to talk to him.
Jack, Donnie Wicks.
Yeah.
Donnie Wicks, yeah. Cowboy Jack, Donnie Wicks.
Jack and I go way back. He's a really good friend of mine. I've been working here, guys, remember, for 10 years. I pretty much know everybody. So when people hear things, rumors start, and you want to be like, hey, let me clear this up. So that's exactly what happened. When I started here 10 years ago, I trashed somebody that we work with on the air, and I got pulled into a hall, into an office. Like,
who was it? I'll do it right now.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll grease
I'm holding the Bo staff, dude. I wish they tried to fire me today.
A lot of things changed in 10 years, Pete. We could take him out right now. We got some reach.
So, who's the person you shit on? I'll shit on him right now.
He's no longer here. So I was under the impression, fine, not doing that. And the idea of playing clips from each other's shows and bashing each other was, I thought, forbidden. I've never done that or even thought to do that because I thought literally I'd get fired the next day.
Are you thinking that about all the great hilarious things you've missed out on by not doing that?
We played a whole other radio show on our show and had our callers call in. I mean, there's a way away, dude.
And that's been a huge profit to me. I have a lot of new people listening, and I couldn't appreciate it more. I mean, that's the great thing. No matter what people are saying about you,
they're always going to listen, for sure.
When Lou remembers this, when Brewer one day bashed me on the radio on Raw Dog when I first started here, when I was on Raw Dog, and
you're talking to your boyfriend Lou. Sorry, DJ Lou.
Hey, buddy.
And it was a massive misunderstanding, but Brewer heard that I had said something. It was like somebody else, and I remember driving home listening to Jim Brewer saying my name. I was like, I grew up watching this guy on SNL, and now he's saying my name. I don't care what he says after or around it. That's a win for me, and it's the same case here, obviously. So, in the end, I'm psyched. I get to be on your guys' show.
Are you doing Madonna's speech for Aretha Franklin?
And then I remember when I was 10 years old. 10 years ago.
This takes me back, man. Sirius XM. It was just called Sirius at the time. XM was a distant.
And all I wanted was some RESPECT.
Exactly.
All we heard is, as far as you saying like we worked it out on the air, is we were told that you had a 2-hour conversation with our bosses. So that to us,
but that's not even. But why not then? Like when you work at why not clear that up with me? A 2-hour conversation. Who told you that?
Jacob.
I did not say that at all.
Jacob told us that.
In fact, I never brought up that he had a conversation.
Who put 2 hours on it?
All I said was that Pete stopped me in the hall and said he was upset.
And said he was going to kill you. You said he was going to kill you.
That we played the clips of the show.
You said that Pete went in there.
And looking back
you said visibly teary-eyed, Pete walked into Jack's office. No, Jacob. Say what you said. Now it's time to just fess up. You said Pete walked in, visibly teary-eyed.
You guys need
and he slammed his fist.
Ahead.
He slammed his fist on the desk.
You said the first thing he wept out at a loud moaning noise was why.
You said, I'm so frazzled that last night I couldn't even go to my Lady Boys of Westchester meeting. That's what you said he told you. You said that came right down from the top brass.
I know you can't see it.
So nobody told you that I went in and talked with them for 2 hours?
No, someone definitely did. I don't know. If it wasn't Jacob, whoever it was.
So when Joe DeRosa comes on your show and says literally, like when you guys say, oh, it's all fun, it's funny, I got to first of all say, you guys did everything you could to make his anger lighter and funnier, but there's no stopping him when he gets like that. And what he said about me on your show was horrific. I mean, the idea that you would go on Comedy Central Radio on with other people and that I know, comedians, and say what he said about me, which the only things that were just horrific and stupid, and I was so like frustrated with Jay, not ever with Dan Soder, because Dan and I don't know each other other than I admire Dan. That's it. I'm a fan. He said, Pete Dominick's not a comedian. You're not a comic. You've never been funny. You'll never be a real comic. And I thought we could have a conversation maybe for a second about what a comic is, what a real comic is. And then Joe DeRosa said several Sirius XM employees that I'm friends with, who I won't name, told me that what happened. And I told them what happened. They all said, that's awesome. He's a dick. Not one person defended him. And every single person said he's an asshole. So understand what there's nothing funny about that. For me, it's funny if you're listening, it's entertaining, it's conflict, I get it, but to have what I've created for 10 years at Sirius XM and for 10 years before that as a comic, just like trash that way, any comic that has done what I've done in my career would be absolutely pissed, especially with someone you think's a friend like Joe DeRosa. And the idea that he would then say the people who I work with, I have no problems with anybody I work with, and that's not true. But nobody said that to Joe DeRosa. Nobody said you're a hero and Pete's an asshole. I have zero enemies, and Lou and Jacob and anybody else that works there will tell you that. It sucked. It's because it wasn't. You guys did your best to try to lighten him up and make it funny. You made fun of me in many ways that were harmless, and I'm a comic. I'm totally fine with that. But saying that I'm not a comic, or I never was, more importantly, it's bullshit. And saying I'm like. My agent is Conan Smith. If there's a club or a benefit that anybody wants me for, go ahead and contact him. It sucked. I was really pissed. And more importantly, Jay, I was like, how does Jay not say, Pete Dominick's done everything you can do as a comic? He's not doing, you guys don't know where I'm at right now, but obviously Jay and I spent a week at the shittiest hotel in Vegas doing a gig. We've done everything. We were in Montreal together, I think. I mean, whatever. It was just, that was the only two parts that pissed me off, that he was saying that, which none of which is true, and that you didn't push back. That's it. That's the only thing I care. This nonsense about me tattling and people attacking me is I don't care. They're cretins and I don't know them. And now I'm here on the show, and my show is 9 to noon on Channel 121. So I win, but it's just, you would think that people would be like, take it easy, dude. You would think that. I would think that. I would think you would have done that in that moment, Jay. That's it. That's all. It's my only problem. I love you. I'm a huge fan of this show. I've never looked forward to live reads in my life, except when you guys do them. And you guys are amazingly talented. I have to prepare for 4 hours for my 3-hour show. You guys seemingly can make something hilarious out of nothing. That wasn't funny. Joe's anger wasn't funny. It was mean. It was wrong. And, it takes a long time to build a reputation. For him to try to take that away from me in under 5 seconds, it sucked. That's how I felt.
I don't know why I find this so funny.
I told you it was Jacob's fault.
For fuck's sake.
I told you it was Jacob's fault.
I don't know why I find this so funny.
No, I mean, to be completely honest with you, Pete, when Joe was ranting on his rant, I was probably just thinking of the next funny thing to say about whatever it was. Honestly, I wasn't looking in a defense mode of anything. I figured you guys would work it out. For sake of funny on the radio, I think we tried to make it as funny as we could.
You did. You definitely did.
I didn't. I took no shots at you actually at all, other than just like laughing at the idea of someone screaming in an office. I mean, we made as much comedy as you can make out of it. Joe came in, heated up. It was the elephant in the room. And he told a story. And then that's why I said, when you texted me the next morning, you were like, can I come on the show and tell my side of it? I said, yeah, absolutely, of course. You can come tell with as much prejudice of it as we did. we've already shit on Joe's body for 5 minutes in this conversation.
No, I haven't said anything about Joe negative, as a matter of fact. I don't think. I'm not going to.
Jay,
You didn't
both
say
of you,
earlier in this conversation that Joe was a sissy Mary who punches like he's got a...
Yeah, dude.
It's not my style.
He's got koosh balls for hands.
No, I love...
You said you got a taste for blood. DeRosa blood.
DeRosa and I have been friends for probably 10 years. That's the other thing that irked the shit out of me. He's like, we're not friends. I'm like, I don't know how you guys talk about your friends who are comics. There's some people you're closer with than others, but your friends who are comics are your comic friends, and you have friends from other parts of your life. Joe and I met Joe, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, because I've been telling people this for a long time, Jay, but you, Jay Okerson, Big J Okerson, Joe DeRosa, Kevin Hart, and Kurt Metzger all came out of Philly, and I think Dan did too. But you guys came out of Philly.
No, Dan didn't, but Mike Vecchione also.
Right, around the same time. I met Joe in front of Boston Comedy Club like 10 years ago. I've hung out with him a million times. I like him a lot. He's been on my radio show.
A decade later, he calls you a cunt to your face on your own fucking show.
Say,
on your own show, he done it to you.
Right on air as your fans are listening to you.
Pete, you got to get both staffs in studio.
Dude, yeah, that's really
Game changer.
Yeah, it'll really fuck up the tone of anyone trying to bring some disrespect in here.
And then he says, of course, on your show, he's like, oh, like anybody's vying to do Pete Dominick show, like anybody listen. Like I did, and this would be negative. I was doing him a favor. I don't have a lot of comics on the show because they don't go deep on the issues, and I like to ask people. My show is a completely different show, but I wanted Joe to come on. He's my friend, and any of my comic friends to promote whatever they want. Absolutely.
Wait, I thought it's stand up because you talk to stand ups. No,
not at all. It's stand up. It's stand up for something. It's like care about something. It's fighting apathy.
There's no double entendre there. I swear to God, I thought there was a double entendre.
I know it's confusing branding. That's my fault.
Well, I hope this is worth anything to you. But I'm sorry if you think I didn't defend you. But I honestly wasn't even listening to give a shit to defend you, other than just keeping the show funny.
Yeah, and I was just trying to be funny. And when I think all the
Dan actually didn't even know until he heard you were upset that you were a comedian. So
this is Jay trying to stir more shit.
Dan knows I'm a comic.
Yeah, he said he remembers you on Star Search.
I'll take it. That. Last Comic Standing, season 3. Yeah. No, it's to me. And the other thing that is really important to me, and I said this to you yesterday privately, Jay, is I would quit before anybody even disciplined you. I would quit. I would never allow for that. I would not that I have that kind of power, but
you don't want to see not even you don't want to see Lewitsky out of a job. Who you can go to the farmers markets with on Sunday?
Lou and I have a thing that's accurate.
Yeah, we go to meetings. Fresh maple syrup.
Guys, I've been here 16 years, which is longer than all
you're
you guys.
Faking asthma attacks.
Yeah, man, you're on the way out.
I didn't know how deep you went with Pete, but apparently it's deep enough to fake a heart attack. I'm coming.
Is Pete your one friend who always carries your extra inhaler for you?
Is he your EpiPen?
When I need you guys to change the subject, yeah, it works.
Pete goes, listen to me right now, Dan or Jay. Grab his wallet, put it in his mouth. You're going to need to do an emergency tracheotomy on Lou.
Excuse me, guys. Sebastian's texting me.
Oh, God.
Fair enough.
He's beeping you.
So I don't know what else to tell you guys.
No, that's all right, Pete. Listen,
I would never snitch on you. I would never tell on you. They heard what happened with Joe. They wanted to know what happened. I don't like it when people take my clips out of context and bash me with them. If you want to play something from my show,
it wasn't out of context. It would have been out of context. Because
it's always out of context. It's clips.
If we said this is an argument of like Barack Obama and Donald Rumsfeld fighting, would be out of context. This is total context. It was about you and Joe fighting.
No, but it wasn't context. It wasn't.
We played it.
We played it. Sam played 7 clips of it. It was a lot more context.
We played
at least.
No, Pete. We played one clip for 14 straight minutes. Dan started to complain in the middle.
I said I was turning. We did so much of your show. It was a segment of your show. I got to give you $15.
I should be paying you.
Yeah.
I should be absolutely.
We're just playing your show. We played a whole episode on Monday. You didn't even say anything.
Yeah. We just give bumpers in and out of commercial. Here's where Pete really stirs it up with. The Senate House Leader.
I go, the Secretary of State in Pete's scope? Check it out. We'll be right back. Here's some Bowen Branch reads.
But there's a way that comics act and behave with each other, and then there's what I learned when I started working. All I did exclusively was stand-up comedy for 10 years, and then I get this gig.
This is going to be another story about you and Mort Saul out in the Borscht Belt doing comedy for old people.
What was Bruce like before the heroin?
the idea there are rules when you work at a company. I've tried to follow them so as to not get fired because I love doing radio, as I know you guys do. And one of those rules was to not take clips from other shows and just harangue people over them. And I don't like that.
What are you going to do? Research for a show, Pete? You want me to spend time at home figuring out what I'm going to talk about on this show?
We need it coming in hot and fresh.
I would say
Krispy
yes.
Kreme, man.
I would say yes, except for you guys are that annoying type of comic. You're like that kid in school who didn't study but got A's. That's how Dan.
Now you're calling us Asians, you piece of shit.
Oh, you racist!
Wow.
Dude,
you heard it here first, everybody.
I am not scared of my white heritage.
At the opening of the show, I think 2 nights ago, Jay was just like made a noise, and Dan goes, "You sound like you're coming down on a water slide." Then Jay had a story about shitting out his shorts, and I was pissed. As a radio host, I was pissed. I was like, there's no way they planned that. That was fucking hilarious. That's bullshit. Jay made a noise, and they turned it into a bit. That is awesome, and I wish I could do that.
So if you want to hear radio less talented than the Bonfire, you can catch Pete Dominick on Stand Up with Pete Dominick.
9 to noon.
9 to noon on Sirius XM Insight.
121.
I see why you call this guy buddy, Lou. This guy's making me feel like I'm walking on sunshine.
He was a good dude.
Oh, man. Listen, here's my social. Let's fucking get a bank account together.
Pete, I love you, buddy. Hope to see you soon.
Thanks, guys.
We'll catch up and show Joe DeRosa together.
Appreciate it, guys.
Bye, brother.
We'll head Ram DeRosa out a window.
Let's take our second break, everyone.
Yeah. Lou, you want to hang up on the phone with him, give him smooches before he goes?
You have to give him little air kisses?
You're going to have to tell him that yeah.
Signing off, PD.
Yeah. Hey, turn on your walkie-talkie when you get home. I'll turn on mine.
Ciao, baby.
LW, is this you?
Big dog. Yeah.
Shh. Hey, it's me, bud. I'm under my cakey coat blanket smoking a butt.
I might burn this whole couch down.
I got my asthma. Hang on. hey, buddy.
Mets are losing. I'm having an asthma attack.
Okay.
He does that to get
Am I faking these veins?